you doing today? I'm so excited to be interviewing you.
Thank you. I'm doing well, honey. How are you?
I'm so good. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely, honey. Let me make sure my little gallery view is good so I can see you big here. Okay, there it is.
So, one thing I have to ask you as a Black woman, what drew you to veganism?
Well, I was sick, right? I got sick in 2016 and was sick for quite some time, about a year and 7 months, with a terrible headache in the back of my head that would not go away. Every day I had this headache for a year and 7 months, and I had chronic fatigue and chronic pain throughout my body. Um, Doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. They kept saying, they knew it was something autoimmune that was attacking my body, but they just couldn't figure it out. And then I watched What the Health. My daughter came home from school and said that they had watched the documentary at school. And I was like, well, honey, let me see what this documentary is all about, because a teenager come home and tell you to watch the documentary, honey, you better watch it. And so it was a light bulb moment for me when they started talking about diseases not being hereditary, is that we eat the same thing, causing the same diseases in our family. And for me, my mama died at 51 of a rare disease called ALS. There's no cause or cure. My daddy just turned 70, and he's the oldest man to ever live in our family. And food was the common denominator for us. And so I thought, well, you know what? It's also the only thing I had not tried. I never considered going vegan. And so I told my husband, let's do a 30-day vegan challenge and let's just see if I get any relief. And in the first 10 days, the headache I'd had every day for a year and 7 months disappeared. And so I was like, I'm on to something, right? I'm on to something. And then as the days went on, I started getting energy again and started getting back to my old self, and pain just started to leave my body. And after the 30 days, I said, no more, honey, this is going to be my life. And it's been 4.5 years almost. And I ain't looked back and don't plan on it. That's how it started.
And you are one of the most, I think, recognizable vegan influencers. What's it been like building this following on social media around veganism?
You know what? Mind blowing, right? Because it was never really my plan. I was just being obedient. But, God had told me to start sharing these videos and telling people what I was eating. And I was like, why? Like, I don't like doing videos and I don't like doing anything with food. I cooked, but I didn't like sharing that type of stuff. But I was being obedient. And so I didn't know what was coming. But I had a dream and saw myself on like a show. The screen was very small. And I was like, well, what was that? My dreams always have come to pass and shown me things. And I prayed, and I was like, well, Lord, reveal that to me. What was this show that I was on? And that's when I heard the voice to start doing videos. And then when I went vegan, he said, now tell people what you're eating. And I was really afraid to do this at first. And I used to do stand up trying to get a TV show out here in LA. And he kind of had a conversation with me because I was very like, you know, I didn't want to do these videos. I was like, Lord, I don't know about this one. He was like, listen, when you were trying to do these, get a TV show and you was doing stand up, you was reaching 15, maybe 30 people a night. He said, but you start doing videos, you reach thousands in minutes. And I was like, I ain't even got thousands of followers. When I first started doing videos, and I had about 30 people watching, and I would get about 200 views. And I was like, Lord, this don't make no sense. But after 4 months of doing it consistently every single day, my first video went viral December 30th of 2017. I was eating a sandwich in my car, and I was like, wait a minute, who in the world watching this video? I was driving Uber at the time. And next thing you know, 4 days later, Whole Foods reached out. I became their brand ambassador just from that video. And from that day, thousands of people in minutes watched my videos, which has now turned into millions. And I never planned for that, right? It happened organically. It wasn't forced. I was just showing up every day, being consistent, and just doing what God had called me to do. So, honey, when you asked me, how did I see it coming? I never saw it coming, and it was never part of my plan to build it. But as I saw it happen, I was like, oh Lord, I got to be responsible with this content that I put out, because it's a responsibility for me to make sure I put out something that feels good, that makes people feel loved and seen and heard, maybe help them laugh or help them cry sometimes. So it's a responsibility. I think that's the best way for me to look at it. And I guess I build on responsibility.
And with you sharing your testimony, I mean, you mentioned God and being a woman of faith. How are you able to really like just surrender to God's plan in this process?
Well, when I was sick, I really thought God forgot about me. When you sick for so long with no answers, I was at the doctor every week, every month, blood work, MRIs, all this stuff would come back, and the doctors would say, sorry, we just don't know. Nothing's coming up. We can't figure it out. And I was in a very depressed state. I was having very bad panic attacks. And I really was like, God, why you do this to me? Why you bring me this far just to leave me? And I had my what I like to call is my last call out to him. I went in my bathroom and I was like, I'm gonna have my coming to Jesus moment in my bathroom. And I prayed and I said, God, if you heal me, you can have me. And I ain't gonna try to live this life my way no more. I will simply live it however you created me to live it. And I meant it. I really meant it that day. And something happened that day and it changed me. And so from that day, I just made a promise that whatever I do, I'll be guided by him and I'll be obedient to it, which is why I started doing the videos. Because honey, when he first said start doing videos, I was like, Lord, I ain't doing that. He said, remember in the bathroom, you said, if I heal you, I can have you. And I said, ooh, I did say that, didn't I? And it caught me on a bad day, but let me go ahead and get to doing these videos. So, when it comes to life and death, I choose life, right? And he says we can have it more abundantly. And I chose to be obedient and let him guide me. And I don't care what nobody else have to say about it. I don't try to force my beliefs on anyone. I simply just share my life and I'm not ashamed of it. It's just who I am. And he has not, he ain't steered me wrong yet. So yeah.
And now you started with making videos on your phone, posting them, and now you have your own show, Tab Time. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Tab Time is a children's show that I'm so excited about. As I said, I've been on this journey of freedom and just being who God created me to be. In the last couple of years in prayer, I would always hear heal the world. And I would think, Lord, how am I going to heal the world? I'm one person. And over time, I would always pray like, Lord, can you tell me how am I going to do that? And then one day in prayer, he said it starts with children. And I was like, well, maybe I could do a children's show. And so for the last couple of years, I wanted to do a children's show. And God blessed me with a team. And I told them, I was like, y'all, have had this idea for the last couple of years. I really want to do a children's show because I have this idea that if I can get children and I can get their minds to be open to where they are open to receiving information of love, of self-love, self-respect, and respect for others, treating each other with compassion and kindness, despite our differences, despite where you're from or how you identify, uh, all of these things, that we love each other, right? And we do that together while learning, that those same children will grow up and become adults who love each other, who see each other and respect each other, right? And that will help them heal each other. And then the world will begin to heal together. So that was my idea. And so, honey, now we're going to see if it's going to work. Okay. Yeah.
And now I'm a firm believer that teamwork makes the dream work. And you mentioned having a team and working together with a team. What was the collaboration process to make this idea become more tangible?
Yes. So I'm with Scale Management, who also is a production. I told them about my idea, because I wanted to bring kind of like a Mr. Rogers feel back, but just with me, a whole Black woman with an afro that's trying to bring the world together, honey, with love and peace and all that. And so they introduced me to Kids at Play, Jason Berger, who I absolutely love and adore. I told them my ideas, and they said, you know what, give us a week or two, let us kind of brainstorm, and we'll come back to you. They came back and they took my ideas and some of their ideas and pitched it to me, and I was like, oh my God, I love it. This is it, And then together we, collaborated, and it became the Tab Time. And then we Of course, found our home at YouTube. What better place? Every child loves YouTube. You know, they own it in their car, in their room, in their house, and wherever, you know. And it's like instant access. Billions of people watch a month. It is no greater home than YouTube. And so that's how it all came to be. And then together, we were so creative, but they allowed me just to be Tab, right? And to bring me to, you know, to the stage, I guess you would say. But the set, if you see the set is bright and colorful and fun, there's things that are mine on the set. Like when you see me do story time, I'm in my chair. And beside me, like right behind me, there's a rocking chair, a little small rocking chair with a doll in it. That's my doll from when I was a little girl. Her name is Polly. And the rocking chair, my mama bought that rocking chair with my daughter was born. So that rocking chair is like over 20 years old. And the colors and the signs and all the things represent me. So they made me feel so seen. They made the little girl inside of me feel seen, right? So just having a team that sees you and they're so willing to bring your words to life and allow you to speak how you speak um, without judgment, because that's what I want to do. I want to make kids feel they're not being judged for being different. That you know, in a world that can be a little tough, if we have each other to lean on, we'll be all right. So yeah.
And in all of the platforms you're on, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and now YouTube, you
Mhm.
always bring this element of positivity and bringing this energy that I feel like a lot of us are like craving, especially right now in COVID.
Yeah.
What's it like having that energy and bringing it to kids?
Oh my goodness. You know, bringing that to kids, it's like the little girl inside of me is jumping up and down, like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but it feels amazing, you know, to be able to pour into children life, understanding, freedom, acceptance, kindness, and compassion while learning. You know what I'm saying? Like teaching them without teaching them. You know, that's what I am gifted at. I can teach, and people don't realize I'm teaching. You know, because you just share. But people learn when you share. You're doing it from a good place, and to be able to do that for children. Some of my best memories are my childhood memories on Saturday mornings watching cartoons and things like that. You know, and now I'll be a part of a child's memory when they're an adult. They'll think back and say, oh, I remember I used to watching this Tab. You know what I'm saying? And I might still be doing it. Who knows? But just planting something in them that will grow. That's the thing that feels really good about it. Because I love children. I believe in humanity, right? I believe in people. I believe that we are all here to love. And the greatest things start with children. And you know, as cliche as it sounds, honey, the children are our future, right? And then if I can be a small part of that, sowing a seed and then see it come to harvest later, what a blessing that'll be. What a blessing that'll be. So that's how I feel about it.
And now you mentioned having story time, but there's also like a crafts element to the show. So what is the actual format that's we're gonna see soon?
Yeah, so the format starts, we always start in my garden, right? Miss Tab, we be in the garden, and my best friend is there, Avi, the avocado, and we have a conversation. And it always gets me to thinking about my truth and the question of the day. And so, like in the first episode, I am thinking about how things grow, right? And so, what we do is we go on a journey to find the answers to that question. And so, we then go with our imagination to our imagination room, and then we fill it up with our imagination because it's empty. Then we go into this animation world because in our imagination, honey, you can be a whole cartoon if you want to, okay? And so then I turn into a cartoon and I meet all these different characters and friends. I even have Lenny, the lightning bug. He's my friend in my imagination when we go into the to this animated world, right? And we go on a journey trying to get answers to our questions. Once we leave there, we go to Miss Tab's lab, and then I'm back to normal. And then I have a special expert guest who comes as celebrity guests, right? And they come in character. And then, like my first episode is Laurel, right, who is Farmer Sprouts. And he teaches us how things grow, fruits and veggies. How sometimes, like, when you see a fruit that looks like it's ripe and ready on the outside, but you taste it and it's sour because it wasn't ready on the inside. We're showing children that sometimes, even though we're ready on the outside, doesn't mean that we're ready on the inside, right? And then from there, we go to the craft table, and we're in each segment. You're still trying to figure out the answers to your question, and then we do a craft with two children. I get guests every week, and whatever the craft is will also help us answer the question of like how things grow. And we leave from there. We go to snack time. And we make a healthy snack that's fun, that the kids will be excited to eat and make it home with their family. And then we go after that to story time, and we recap our day. We talk about how it made us feel, discovering new things. And then I encourage children to share how they feel and what they learn with their family at home. Until next time. So it's very interactive. It's a nice, smooth flow. It's fun. It's bright. It's colorful. And they learn a lot without, realizing that they're learning so much, right? But that's tab time.
And do you feel like working on a kids show and having tap time that you've been able to tap into your imagination as an adult while working with children?
Oh yeah, honey. Listen, my imagination is already, it's out there. My hair named Donna. Come on. I call my hair. She got a whole life of her own. I'd be in the airport and people like, "Hey, Donna," and she'd be waving. So I've always had a very big imagination, but this even allowed me to go even bigger. I had imagination shoes in tab time, right? And they allow me to fly. And my dreams have always been very vivid and a little different probably than most people's, but they've been even more so big and colorful, even more so now. But your imagination is your friend, and you're safe there, and you can go to many places with your imagination. So yeah, it's definitely helped my imagination get even bigger, if you can imagine that. So yeah.
And now I have to ask you, I remember when I was a kid, I was born in the 90s. I don't remember seeing like Black folks on kid shows, especially with natural hair. I think the first time I saw a Black woman with natural hair on TV was MSNBC with Melissa Perry Harris. So the news was the first time I saw a Black woman on TV with natural hair. What's it like having that representation for little Black girls to see themselves and be authentically themselves on television?
I mean, I think representation matters, right? I was the same. I never saw anyone who looked like me growing up, right? I never saw anyone on a children's show, on regular television with an afro with natural hair. And so I was just so grateful. I was like, you know what? When I get so many messages and tagged in, Instagram and Facebook posts of children with their afros out there, and their mama saying she wanted to wear her Donna to school today. It is such a great feeling to know that I'm making little girls know that they're okay, that they're enough just as they are, and that they matter, right? Their hair matters too. And how it grows naturally is okay. Because for a lot of years, I used to press my hair straight, not because I liked it, but because I thought I had to survive, to fit in. I didn't think I had a choice because I'd been told I had to look a certain way for so long. And I love straight hair. It looks great, right? But if I have a choice, I'm gonna wear it how I want to wear it. And this is my choice. And I love my hair like this. I love my afro. And me and Donna, we be out here running the world, okay? And just letting little girls know that, girl, your afro is just fine. It's beautiful, and so are you. So absolutely.
Well, Tabitha, thank you so much for your time. And I'm so excited for everyone to see this show.
Thank you. I am so grateful. Thank you for your time and helping me share.